And it's important that I say this, not that you believe it, but it's important that I say this, that I come from a different world than you do. Now, I come from the United States, so I'm not talking geographically. But the world that I live in is different than the world that you live in. Now, the label for a person who makes a claim of that kind, whether it's believed or unbelieved, well, maybe if it's believed or unbelieved, is either angel, saint, or know-it-all. I'm going to go for know-it-all. And I'm going to tell you what I mean, because I am a know-it-all. I know it all. I don't know it each, but I know it all. And I'm going to try to explain to you what I mean. Let's take arithmetic. Arithmetic follows certain... I'm winging it here, so... This is all winging it. Arithmetic follows certain laws. If you know the laws of arithmetic, you can add up columns of numbers. You can add up 1,362 plus 483, which the answer is, of course, you don't know. But you do know the law of arithmetic, so you can add it up. It will take you, whatever, 30 seconds for some of us, others us, a little longer. But we do know the laws of arithmetic, so we can come up with a conclusion. We know the all. We know how arithmetic works. So no matter how many columns of numbers we're given, how complex the addition is, 6-digit numbers and 5 of them, which nobody here, I doubt, could say the result of. What is it called? The sum? Sum of. But probably everyone here, within a few minutes, could come up with the sum. So we know the all. It's the all. We don't know the each. We know the all. And I'm saying, I know the all. I am a know-it-all. I know the all. Here's another example. What can I use here? Right. Now, if I say, what will happen if I let this go? Everybody knows. Now, how many times have you experimented with dropping red? Is this a rose? Carnation? No, it's not. Camellia, yeah. How many of you would have experimented with dropping fuchsia camellias? Probably none. But since we know the all, we know what would happen for sure if we drop the red camellia. And also this, or also that, or also my shoe, or anything. We know that. We don't know the we don't know the each, but since we know the all, we know the each. So I'm saying, I know it all. I am the know-it-all. I know the all. And this allows me to whatever is presented to me, I can figure it out. Sometimes very quickly, sometimes it takes a while. But there is no confusion for me. I come from a different world than you come from. In the world that you come from, you try to get toward knowing more by each thing that you learn. But since you never learned the all, and you haven't learned the all, each thing is another challenge for you. Each thing is a new thing that you have to learn from scratch. I come from a different world than you because I'm a know-it-all. I know it all. So the problems, plans, and relationships of life, I know the answer to that. Whatever one would present under the creation, within the creation, I know the answer to that, because it all is answerable if you know the all. So there are different things that a person can pursue in life. If you pursue them with me, my purpose is to teach you the path to knowing the all, so that everything else is within your range. You're no longer a victim of each individual thing, because once you realize and personally experience and verify for yourself the all, then confusion is gone. All the troublesomeness of life is gone, because it all exists within the all. Now, these are nice words. It sounds good. It's even possibly a believable theory. But the next thing I would have to tell you is, what is this path that I'm talking about between the world that you live in, where you have to know each thing and you have to solve each problem? Certainly not the dropping of the rose, but the complexities of your life. The things that aren't as you think they should be. What's in between having to proceed in that way and knowing the all, realizing the all, experiencing the all. This is where it gets this is where the world of effort comes in. The world of dedication comes in. The world of intention comes in. This song that Althea played, I guess the song before, Try and Catch the Wind. What's the name of it? It's All Right Ma, Bob Dylan song, a lot of words. I don't know if you listen to those words, but one of the phrases is bent out of shape by society's pliers. Now, that's poetry. Bent out of shape by society's pliers. We all have been bent out of shape by society's pliers. We could not have avoided being bent out of shape by society's pliers. I'll tell you an interesting little story. At one time, I lived in Santa Barbara for a while, and I found myself going to really remote third world countries, and eventually having to take people to those remote third world countries. More of an adventure traveling. And some of these places, if something happened to you, it would be a problem, because there were no medical facilities, no doctors, no nothing. So I decided it was my responsibility to get informed of emergency medical knowledge, techniques, procedures, like that. And so I took the basic course, and then it interested me. So I took another one, and then I took another one. And since I wasn't working a job, I had time to do that, and I got the various credentials, and I became a PMT, and then I became the advanced PMT. And when you do those things, there's a couple of things you have to do. Other than study things, you have to ride on the emergency medical truck, on the ambulance truck, the rescue 911 truck, and you have to do hours in the emergency room. Now in Santa Barbara, there's a place on the top of the hill called Cold Spring Tavern. And the road down from Cold Spring Tavern is like that. And every weekend there are accidents on the road down from Cold Spring Tavern, with people getting drunk at Cold Spring Tavern and riding down. And some of them are motorcycle people. And there is no Saturday night if you're either riding the truck or you're in the emergency room where you're not going to run into at least one motorcycle down on, what is it called, San Marcos Pass Road. Always. Always at least one. So one time I happened to be doing my hours in the emergency room, and some guy comes in. He's not critically injured, but he's scraped up pretty bad, wearing Bermuda shorts, drunk, was on a motorcycle, went down on San Marcos Pass Road, and scraped up pretty bad with the glass from his headlight embedded in his leg, and not badly embedded, but you know, he was fucked up. So the procedure when you do that, when you get somebody like that in, is you have to get all the foreign matter out. It's not pleasant for either the person who's doing it, or certainly not for the person who's getting scraped. But you got to get it out. You can't leave glass or tar or little shards of metal in there. So it's almost like you're wire brushing a wound. And you can put some numbing stuff on that, but certainly not going to put the guy under to do that, because it's topical. What we're talking about is topical. So here's this guy, drunk, Bermuda shorts, motorcycle, San Marcos Pass Road, down on the road. I'm in the emergency room. He comes in, and it's my turn, and I'm doing the extracting of foreign matter. And he says to me, "Hey man, you're hurting me." You get it bent out of shape by society's pliers. Here he was motorcycling drunk at night on San Marcos Pass Road, and I'm hurting him. Right? And he said it with like I was the bad guy. So when I say none of us have escaped being bent out of shape by society's pliers, none of us have escaped being bent out of shape by society's pliers. And you know what happens when you try to hammer a nail in and it gets bent? You have to straighten it out before you get it further in. You can think, I'll just give it another whack. But if you give it another whack, it gets bent a little more. And then at some point, you don't have a nail at all. You have a squiggle. So you do have to straighten it out before it's going to go any further. And if we are bent out of shape by society's pliers, we do have to be straightened out before we go any further. It is in our way. It is an obstacle. It is a problem for us to become know-it-alls. It is a problem for us to become free. It is a problem for us to have inner peace if we are bent out of shape by society's pliers. But one of the first things that we do have to recognize is that we are bent out of shape by society's pliers, and how badly we are bent. Not because we meant to, or not because anybody meant to bend us out of shape. Everybody is just trying to be okay in their way, but the result is being bent out of shape by society's pliers. It does happen. It happens insidiously in details, so this guy could actually feel like I am the problem, and walk away thinking that the EMT in the ER is the problem, that he is not the problem. And this bent out of shapeness is so insidious that we don't really realize how ubiquitous it is, how all-encompassing it is in our lives. There's a football game going on later this afternoon, the Super Bowl. It's the premier sporting event in the Western world, really. Maybe there's soccer events that are bigger, but certainly in the United States. That's 300 million people, the premier sporting event. And the team that comes in second is going to feel terrible. second in the whole world. All the football teams, all the people who wanted to be on football teams that didn't make it, all the athletes, all the everything. Getting to participate in that event, not something for us just to watch maybe, but not a big accomplishment, but such an accomplishment for all those people. And if they come in second, they're going to feel like shit. Guaranteed. Bent out of shape by society's pliers. No, these are, maybe you can't personally relate to the motorcycle down guy, or to the athlete in that case. Maybe you see yourself in a different category. But it's my job, and it's not necessarily a pleasant job, but an important job, that if I'm going to help you along or point you in the direction of becoming a know-it-all in a good way, that I'm going to also have to give you evidence to verify for yourself that you are bent out of shape by society's pliers, and that is in the way. It is in your way. And think of also, since we're getting gritty here, think of also the ultimate intimacy between a man and a woman. The ultimate the sacrament intimacy between a man and a woman, which also happens to be the way the human race is propagated, goes on. That the term that describes that is also the same term for the ultimate condemnation. Fuck you. Now, bent out of shape by society's pliers, how does a human being growing up come to grips with these two things? The same term for the ultimate sweetness, beautiful sacrament, propagating the human race, and the most vehement insult that a person can possibly manifest. None of us have escaped that. None of us have escaped that. Bent out of shape by society's pliers. Probably people here, maybe, who really, right now you're not thinking about that. But after this meeting, you will think about things like, I wonder who's sleeping with who in this group. And I wonder where their money comes from. Bent out of all the possibilities. I'm saying I know it all. I'm saying I can lead you, I can tell you, I can show you the path to peace. I can do it. Not in Hindi, not in Sanskrit, not in Buddhism. Right here for you, American tune, you, who are bent out of shape by society's pliers. I can do that for you if you want. And you want to know where our money comes from. What the fuck? Bent out of shape by society's pliers. You think you've avoided it. It's not like I'm accusing you. I came from there too. But I got unbent. I had help. I had a lot of help. I had consistent help. I was pointed, went off course, repointed, went off course, went off course, went off course, repointed, and got unbent. And in getting unbent, things became clear to me. Seeing how things are became clear to me. Realizing the over-guiding principles were learnable to me. But first, I had to get unbent. Now, there are people here that agree with me, that they think, yes, that sounds right. And there are people who think that they're already unbent. So I have to tell you, I'm picturing, as I'm saying this movie, Stir Crazy. Did you ever see Stir Crazy? Probably not. It's an old movie, Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. It's a really funny movie. And at one point in the movie, they're both jokers, goofballs. So they're, I don't remember why they get busted, but they end up in jail. And if you can picture those two guys, they're both kind of little and scrawny guys. So they're in this big jail cell with some big guys with a motorcycle, tattoos on, and really shaved heads, some badass looking people. So they're there and they're fearing for their lives, of course. And what they decide to do is they start strutting around the cell. And their mantra, what they're saying is, I'm bad. We're bad. We're bad. And I could show you the walk a little bit, but you probably know the walk. So they're saying, we're bad, we're bad, we're bad. And they're walking through the columns of these Hell's Angels guys or whoever they are and saying, I'm bad, I'm bad. Now, I'm telling you this because, in my view, that's what you're doing. Except it's, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. But you're not. You're bent out of shape by society's pliers. And your method is to pretend that you're good and to hope it sticks. But after a while, if a person is even remotely honest with themselves and doesn't avoid people that don't necessarily agree with them, a person will learn that they are not as good as they would like to put forth that they are. Not as clean, not as giving, not as calm, not as non-reactive, not as free from negativity, not as free from restlessness as they would like to put forth. A person would honestly, with some self-assessment, see that although they have not found another way, but as to put on that I'm good, I'm good, I'm good performance, because what's the alternative? Other people are doing that too. And especially if you join into some kind of community, that's the modality of that community is everybody is saying, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. One can even get to imagine that they are. You're not malicious. But if a nail is bent a little bit, it doesn't have to be disfigured. It's bent a little bit, and pressure is on it from a hammer. It will not go in. It will bend more. So it's not so much that I'm accusing you of inhuman behavior, but I am saying there are strings, myriad subtleties in which you are bent out of shape by society's pliers. And if it is your intention to discover the inner reality, the overall principles, the overall principle, to have that inner experience of truth, not truth of fact, but truth of light and truth of sound and truth of energy and truth of vibration. If you want that, if that is what you seek, then you will have to become unbent out of shape by society's pliers. And it can happen, because beneath that distortion that we all have been victims of, not malicious victims of, but circumstantial victims of, beneath that there is an innate goodness. There is an innate purity. There is something beautiful which does not distinguish itself from this person has it, this one doesn't, this one does, this one doesn't, Nelson Mandela has it, somebody else doesn't have it. There's no distinguishing. Everyone at their essence is pure, innate goodness. It's there. But we get named and categorized not by our innate goodness, but by how much covering for that innate goodness that is. What we have done in life to protect ourselves from what we imagine as dangers and sometimes what are dangers. What we have done to protect ourselves is how people see us. So we get categorized as good people. If we have, in order to protect ourselves, we have seen ways to become helpful to protect ourselves. We're seen as good people. And to protect ourselves, if we've seen, in order to protect ourselves, we have to be, in some way, aggressive or what's called bad people. We are categorized as bad people. Everything is the same. It's all protection on the outside, beneath, innate goodness. Pure, uncircumstantial ability to give and love and include. Not with effort, but in a natural state. That is our natural state. That is not our normal state, but that is our natural state. And in order to achieve that natural state, so we don't have to strut around and say, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, in the ways that we do, we have to become unbent. We have to remove those obstacles that have been annexed onto us. Not in conglomerate form, but in the moments, in the moments, in the moments. That is basically why I disagree with the Hermann Hesse premise that the magic theater is not for everyone. I know that the magic theater is for everyone. Some people are so covered and so bent that they do not notice that there is a magic theater. You are so fortunate because you couldn't see fit to come on a Sunday to this get-together, this magic theater. So you have some hope that there is a magic theater. But everyone is a candidate for the magic theater if they can see its possibility. So the job that I've taken on is to help you to see the possibility that there is a magic theater and you want it. You may have lost a little hope that it could be there, but that you want it. My job to help you evidence for yourself, not believe me, but verify for yourself that you are bent out of shape by society's pliers. And also that there is something behind that bentness, behind those obstacles, behind that distortion, in all the forms that I described, that is innate goodness and it is beautiful. So the message is really a positive one. No matter how much we talk about what's in the way, the message is a positive one. Because you don't have to do anything to be good. You don't have to do anything to be a know-it-all. You don't have to do anything. All that has to happen is this uncovering. Because beneath your performance, beneath your protections, there is wisdom. There is love. There is kindness. There is giving. There is compassion. On the surface, there is tension, restlessness, negative emotions, competition, fear. Understood. But beneath that, there is beauty. And every human being is a candidate for that.